YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's been a hot minute, but with the European finals in sight in December, we've got plenty of grinding to be doing, plenty of games coming ahead, and I thought there is no better place to start than the Scrub Games League, where we all split into groups of four, and the top two from each group after a round robin goes into a top eight bracket. And whilst there's no official prizing or anything like this, it's more of a bit of fun. There's some really, really interesting matchups, loads of different decks, loads of different really good players in there. So there's a real chance to show you some excellent games in here. And starting off, I got paired with our good friend BigONotation, Ollie Simmons, and we're going to be showing you our games across both of our channels coming up as well. So if you haven't seen game one of this already, please head on over to his channel. The link is down below as well. Where you can catch the first game. And if you're with me now, we're going to be hitting up the second game. I'm going to be playing Go Bros. I wanted to try out something from the new set. I saw a bit of the deck list that came top in the recent European regionals. Wanted to try a couple of amendments, give it a bit of a go, because a bit of a not attacking, hand controlling, slow mid-range green deck is quite my vibe. And Ollie is going to be on Cumber, which has shown itself already to be a really strong deck. Past couple of formats had some really tricky matchups. They are no longer to be worried about. So with that in mind, as well as a bunch of new support, the deck's looking fantastic. So the matchup's really good. We're going to be talking through our plays as we go. There's a bit of side deck talk at the beginning of this as well, and a bit of general playing tips and tricks. So if you like this kind of video, it's a little bit of something different to the normal gameplay videos, please do let us know down in the comments below, or if you want us to just stick to the gameplay videos, we can do that as well. So anyway, hope you enjoy, and we will catch you in the next one. Right guys, game two coming up. I got absolutely redacted, should we say redacted there? Otherwise we're spoiling it. But you know, we certainly had a game, and you need to go and check it out on Big O's channel. It was pretty hype. We're doing like a little bit of something different here. We're going to be like just talking through a few plays and everything. It is like the Scrubs League, Scrub Games League, but there's nothing on the line here, so why not get a little bit of insight from me and Big O here, so you can learn how to play the game from him and how not to play the game from me, and then you've got perfect analysis across the board.
Of course, of course.
Ollie, bro, what are we? What's your thoughts going into the side deck against what you've just played?
Oof, going into the sideboard, I'm seeing the draw power, I'm seeing the 3 negates. It's definitely a game of, I feel like my deck spikes in the mid game, and your deck definitely spikes later on into the game. So I need to be optimizing my turn 4s and turn 5s and turn 6s, and making sure I can kill you before it gets to around turn 8, where you can start getting that hand control going. But also, if you get an early like combo off on me, if you get an early enough triple strike crit, that's going to be me out of the game. So I need to make sure I'm keeping enough negates in, I'm keeping gohan rares in, I'm keeping supports in, I'm keeping power bursts. But I also want to be looking to slide in cards like Deborah, Petrification, and the Hunt of the Demon God to try and... The Deborahs obviously keep my advantage up early on. Petrification, stop the 8 drop, stop the coolers, as we saw in the last game. And then Hunt obviously to help with that final push turn a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Hunt's a really fantastic card against this deck because there's 2 like free play floodgates, and it's one of the only answers to green floodgates, which is really good. And this is like really good like tips in general here. It's not just like a Cumber based one, because black as a color has a lot of these tools here.
For sure.
Petrification for the 8 drop, because I'll reveal that in the first game as well, so he knows I play it. Knows it's going to be a strong card against that, and also the 5 drop cooler, which a lot of the deck kind of bases around, and Deborah be Deborah, of course.
Yeah, Deborah is pretty good against most green decks, to be fair. The issue is I really don't know what to take out here, to be honest.
Do you find when you talk to a lot of players that this is probably one of the more like difficult skills to pick up?
Absolutely. It's the entire reason me and my team have just a spreadsheet of like, okay, this is the deck I'm going to play in a regionals. Maybe we decide that like a week or two beforehand. And we'll just go through every meta deck and go through, okay, what cards am I siding in? What cards am I siding out? And that is like, we'll spend a good week just testing to make sure we know exactly what cards we're siding out and in, just so that we're obviously prepared when it comes to that 1 minute timer.
Exactly that. Like, that was the point I was going to touch on, and you've kind of done it really well there, where if you haven't practiced what you're going to be siding in and out a lot of the time, you end up getting to this point where you sit down for your match, you see they're playing a leader, and you go, oh yeah, look, it's flipping, I don't know, Broly, or it's Cumber, or whatever. What do I need to side out? And you're like, oh, and then you see the timer going down, you've got a minute to side deck, and you just start chucking random cards out, and you side out the wrong couple of cards, you throw your deck off completely, and then you just end up in a space where you may have the counters to the deck in front of you, but your deck's no longer consistently going to be playing. So you're in a real like tricky spot basically, and just practicing those ones just takes a bit of that added pressure off your day, especially when you're going to be doing that 8 times, 7 times in a tournament run.
Absolutely, and especially if the deck you're playing is a taxing one as well. Right.
Exactly.
I think I've
especially
decided.
Especially like this.
We're going to be siding out 3 cards. It's very, very uncertain, to be honest. We're not going to side in the 3rd Petrification because we just can't find the space. Side out a 6-drop Cumber because once I get to turn 4, I'm slamming 8 drops every turn anyways. We've got the 2-drop Cumbers in the Z deck. Most of the early turns from you seem to be like 1 to 4 costs anyways, so the 6-drop isn't too important, but it's also nice to have as 3 copies still. The Goku is generally just quite a flexible side slot. It's not a very overperforming card in the deck, and keeping 1 copy in the main is still fine. And then the Gohan rare, I really want to keep this card in, but
man's got to get the space.
We just got to keep the space.
I've already done some side decking, but I'm going to just talk you through a little bit of my philosophy, and against any black deck, I'm going to introduce you all to the best card in the game. The very best card in the game. And I've only sided a couple of cards. I've only sided 2 cards. And I'm gonna keep you in suspense while I find the second one to make sure I'm just not cheating here, which I'm not, don't worry. And this is the best card in the game.
Yep.
This is the best card in the game right now. So
that card is so snapped right now.
This card is Bigger More. For anyone who doesn't know, it's an activate main for 2 energy. If your leader is a green card, your opponent cannot attack with any card with 5 cost or more during their turn. Cumber is like a little bit of a lesser example of this because they've got a couple of different ways of playing under it. But like your top performing black decks like Trunks Xeno, and potentially even like the new Fu deck if you see people on that. The new Fu deck literally has 0 things they get under this. Like, they have to jump into the Z deck to get under it. Everything in that deck, even their 1-drop Fus 15k are 5 cost. The card overperforms against a lot of the meta, including black as well, so it's well worth even a main deck slot in any of your green decks. But we definitely chucked a couple of copies of those in. And then when it came to siding out, controversially, I've sided out one of the healing pods, and then also a cooler as well. The cooler wasn't really particularly, like, it had a really good moment in that game, but now that Ollie is aware of it and knows about playing around it, it's going to be a lot more difficult to pull off, and Cumber doesn't naturally have a lot of cards that can be hit 4 cost or less with this. And one of this as well, because you got to remember, like, you're adding in 2 more extra cards into the deck. As soon as you see one of this card, everything else is like pretty, like every single other copy you see of it is pretty dead, because he's not going to have a way of clearing a field card, despite him trying to like banter me in the first game saying he was going to get rid of it with the miscellaneous black field card remover. So, you know, providing I'm just built different, I'm going to draw the card anyway. Siding out 1 copy doesn't feel too bad considering how much we start to filter and draw anyway, and we've got the mulligan to go find it regardless, and seeing Demrig return 1 isn't too important, so we can focus on just getting this card. It might be the wrong play, but this is kind of what we do when we're like testing anyway. There's a lot to be said about just stress testing different scenarios. Like, if you constantly do the same thing over and over again, you'll never know unless like you push the limit of something and go, let's just try something a little bit different and see if it works. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all, as top players, had scenarios like that where you just gotta like try something a bit off the wall, and if you don't know, then if you don't try, then you'll never know. Is kind of the point I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's so important to just try it as much as possible when it comes to this game.
Yeah, because there's so many different decks, scenarios, etc. That you can try. Any deck, for the most part, can compete and have a really good job of like in certain metas, and unless you spend the time kind of working out those things and trying different stuff like this, then you're never really going to know if the deck's going to work or not, and you might just be missing that little bit of spice that could push you into the tops of some of these regionals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, let's get to it, shall we?
Go on then.
So I'm going to go first in this one.
Ooh, we'll keep 3 cards tentatively.
I'm going to match you on 3.
Oof, okay.
I'm going to match you on 3.
Side decking paid off. He saw the healing pod.
Guys, I'm just saying, side one out. Just draw it. It's really a skill issue at this point.
It's really that simple.
We've literally spent all this time talking to you about like different strategies, and the real strategy that we really had to tell you after all of it said and done is just draw the cards, just win the game.
Yeah.
Right, we go again. So, looking at my opening hand, as much as it was a real pain in the arse for him to deal with last time, I'm going to charge it turn 1. There's not really an awful lot I can do until turn 3 with it. And then we're going to use the leader effect to go and find a Gohan or Goten. So, here's this guy.
He found one.
I know, I didn't whiff this time. Sick deck, actually broken. And then I'm going to tap 1 and play it down and get myself a draw. And then I'm going to pass it on over to you.
We'll draw for turn. Ooh. Now, the only issue with my state of siding cards out is that it leaves me very few good charge targets this game. So, as much as it pains me to do it so early, I think my play, because I'm going second, is to charge an 8-drop here. We'll go ahead and pay 1 for the Evil Saiyan top 5.
You go for it.
Ooh, we got options. Now, because it's early, we want to find the trunks just to maximize the servant value once I get the Z battle down. But I did have the option to take a 6-drop Cumber in case you build a board next turn, which, looking at the last game, I don't think you will. You will just set up the Z extra in the field. And I also could have grabbed the Foo for more draw power, but the trunks is definitely going to give me more draw power early on, whilst you don't have a board yourself.
Yeah, I like that play for sure.
And then we'll go leader to leader.
And I will say no negates.
Draw 1, give us the chance to just combo our 1-drops into Z.
Yep, and shockingly, as we kind of discussed, spoilers in the other video, these cards are just a little bit too good at the moment with cantrips, so I'm also going to combo. I am under, so I'm still going to go ahead and take the damage.
And all yours.
Splendid. So, I've just drawn another target for my top 5 search, so we have to start getting a little bit it's going to start getting a little bit inconsistent to find these pieces, but we still have an 8-drop we can find. Again, just draw the cards, guys.
Just draw
it's really
it.
that easy. Just draw it. Just search it. It's fine. So we're going to grab the 8-drop from the top 5 with our leader effect. And there's like a few things I can do with this turn here. I'm kind of thinking I'd like to get a couple of things established, and this is kind of one of the things with this deck is like there's a few different things that you can establish, but I think one of the key ones is Demagogue Unison of Sorcery. So we're going to play it with 1 counter and then uptick to gain 10k for the turn. But realistically, it's a very minor thing, but like attacking here is just going to provide more cards and your self-awaken down to 6 regardless. So
Yeah.
I really want to give you more options going into your turn.
Yeah, that's a big thing I notice people do sometimes is like if you know your opponent is going to awaken and get cut to a certain life anyways, there's actually no point attacking them because you just give them more options to see what they charge with on the next turn.
Exactly. Like it's a very like minor thing, but it's still kind of
very relevant. Like it definitely will come up. Because they might see that card off life where it's like, oh, now I have 2 copies of this in hand, and even though I was going to play it this turn, I can now charge the other copy.
Yeah. And then that, like anything you can do to make your opponent's life a little bit trickier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to awaken and cut ourselves down to 6. Draw 2 for the awaken. I'm quite simply just going to bring a 1-drop back and draw a card. And then say, your turn.
We'll draw
so again, here we're just going to force him to hit the foo button, get down to 6 life anyway. But this turn there's fewer cards in hand, so there's going to have to be a bit more of a difficult decision where he might have to charge something that could be relevant 4 or 5 turns in the future.
And you already heard my struggle with charging last turn. It did not get much easier this turn. So it definitely helps. Unfortunately, we will have to charge a copy of the free negate.
Yeah.
Let's start with standard. Get that foo out, boy. Is he stacking the Cumber? Awaken to untap 1, draw 1, take down to 6. Yep, and I can confirm off life I did draw another copy of a card that I did have in my hand, which would have made my charge a lot easier had I seen it.
There we go. And that's one of the powers of this new set here, where every deck that came out is like they don't have to attack to gain an advantage necessarily with a lot of them.
It's a very interesting design philosophy, but I am a fan of it, I can't lie.
I'm a big fan of being able to choose whether I give opponents resource in exchange for my own. It's
100%.
It is pretty cool.
Let's go ahead and give you a trunk, speaking of giving resources.
Have I ever told you I hate you?
So you can draw 1, discard 1. I'll go take my 6-drop here.
Awesome. Again, we're going to use the chance to draw 1, discard 1. And I'm going to be discarding a 1-drop.
Now, I can play my 6-drop here, and I was originally going to try and choke you out of these 1-drops, but the fact you've discarded another copy makes me less likely to do so, especially into a 2-marker green unison. But we'll go ahead and swing leader into your... We'll swing leader into your unison to see how my hand develops before making a decision on what to do.
Sure, no negates there.
We'll draw 1 and just leave that at 15. Swinging to unison to try and restrict options
15.
In terms of
Slightly
letting you combo out.
Yeah, I'm going to take the damage from that.
Cool. Now, as much as I'd like to not let you have that 1-drop to get in drop each turn, I think it's okay to stay. I don't think, because you've got another 1-drop, I don't think restricting the 1-drops do all that much. You don't have healing pod down yet, whilst that could be coming down next turn.
I believe I sided one out, guys. What a rookie mistake. One amateur hour thing to do.
We'll just go ahead and activate main, give the trunks servant, and overlord the trunks to draw 1.
Yep.
And then we'll pay 1 for the Evil Saint to search top 5.
Of course.
Because I don't know what I particularly want to search for, I draw a card before I search top 5, so that I know what's going to be in my hand a bit more.
Yeah, again, it's just one of those like very small, like micromanagement kind of things. Mid-maxing, I think, is the official term that they give it, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Take another 1-drop.
Whatever.
And pass it over to you. Oh yeah, and that
The
Trunks is
broken
gone as well,
one-drop
by the way.
strategy. You've overlorded this, haven't you?
Yeah.
Before I try and combo or block with it or something hilarious.
Try not to drop
So,
my deck.
one drop has survived. And one of the nice things about this deck is you kind of have so many different things that are kind of parts of the strategy that can just be charged like this demo when you already got one down. Plenty of discard fodder, etc. So what we're going to do in this instance is we have you on 2 energy and me on 3, so I can't do an awful lot here because a lot of my stuff requires you to have 3 or more energy, so I'm just going to start getting some more cards in hand. And because I'm the actual GOAT and it doesn't even matter, I already have Healing Pod in hand anyway, so side out your Healing Pods, everyone, don't worry about it. And we're going to go Leader Effect and pull back the 1-drop, and then draw 1 for the 1-drop and draw another 1 for Healing Pod.
Yeah, do it.
Just do it. And then I'm going to uptick my Unison to gain 10k, and now you've awakened, I'm pretty happy to just go and start attacking. So I'm going to go 15k at your leader to start making you think about it, put some pressure on.
No negates there.
And I'm quite keen to combo here to go up to 20, because that's going to force your 1-drop off the field and then force another 5k from hand as well, if you want to block the damage.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to take that. As much as I'd love to combo the 1-drop to get out of an attack, it's not worth another card in my hand. And getting to 5 life for token negates is pretty good.
Exactly. I'm going to Z-charge and start setting up some future turns here. And then my bro is happy going down to 5. I'm going to tap 1 and play another 1-drop to get a draw.
He's cantripping.
The broken strategy I've learnt from you from last game. So I'm going to draw 1, and then I'm going to send leader into leader as well.
We'll say no negates there.
Cool. And then we're going to do the same thing again, where I'm going to combo up to 20.
Now, I have a few options here. I can take it. I don't want to take it because I know the pressure your deck can put on with that 8-drop coming into next turn. Plus cooler Z battle cards shenanigans. So I think I want to keep this energy open to threaten a certain card in case you play a certain card that requires you to have 3 or more energy. So we're going to free combo this Goku, give my leader 10k to go 25, and give you this Goku as a 10k double striker.
Splendid. And now I have the choice whether I want to Z-charge or not, and to be honest with you, the answer is no. Because now I don't have to go into the Z deck to get this one out, but I'm set up for a couple of different plays basically for next turn. And the Goku's an interesting one because I can actually use it as an attacker in this scenario here.
Yeah,
but it's
it
a
would
pretty
cost you
difficult
cards to
one.
combo still.
Exactly. So in that vein of thought, I am going to pass my turn.
Yeah, and whilst on paper it looks like a -1 for me, because I lose a card from hand, because it then gives you another battle card for me to overlord going into next turn, it's actually kind of fine.
Yeah, kind of a plus there as well. And the thing is, I can swing with it, but because that 1-drop hasn't been used off the board, I'd have to pay a card, and you're using a card that you've already, gained advantage from. You've already gained an extra card from it, so
yeah,
it wouldn't make an awful lot of sense.
Now, I have options again this turn, and it makes it very tricky to charge. I think I should be going for that line of play instead. Which would
Dragon Ball's
then...
totally a game of thinking about what's what the turns ahead are going to be like as well. So some of these charging options, like if you're looking at the hand, might look quite obvious, but there's certain cards that you need in certain matchups on turn 4 or 5. Seeing them turns 1 and 2 doesn't necessarily make them an automatic charge.
Yeah, as much as it pains me, we're going to charge this new Superfu. This is the pain of not having these new 7-drops and promos. This card is just not live as much as I want it to be, as it has been in testing.
Yeah. Because with 2 of that 7-drop in the deck and none of the promos, it really lacks a lot of targets.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start by swinging leader into leader, just to see as many cards as possible and see how you react.
Leader into leader is a no negates from me.
We'll draw 1 for auto. Just leave that at 15.
And 15. I am pretty keen to get myself down to 4 life. But I don't need to do it yet, and that's only 5k's worth. So, although there's not really an awful lot of cards I want to combo away, I'm pretty happy looking at everything to just combo away one of these 8 drops and get myself another Z energy to go to 20.
Yeah. And that does kind of telegraph to me that you probably have another one in hand to go into next turn.
Exactly. I wish there was another card I could combo away, but looking at it, this is kind of the one I gotta do at the moment.
We'll pay 1 to use Fu Activate main to attempt to play combo from underneath it. See if there's any response there.
There's no response from there.
Cool. So I have the option to play the 6-drop here, but that gets met much harder with a charismatic villain, whereas this is actually just better on board at the moment, with everything being 4 cost or less.
Definitely.
And testing for Dormant with leader swing first before committing to this is always a good idea as well.
Yeah, you've got it, man.
So on play, we'll give the 1-drop Servant.
Yes.
And then we'll swing 15. Actually, no. I shouldn't do that yet. What I should do is give you a Trunks first to search top 5. You can draw 1,
More
discard 1.
gifts for me.
Oh yeah, baby.
We'll take the opportunity to indeed draw 1 and discard 1. And I've just drawn a very interesting card in particular for this matchup. But looking at the hand, spoilers, man. He doesn't even know it's not bigger more, guys.
Yeah, Bigger More is really one of those cards against black. It just forces you to go into the Z deck to look for other things. So the 1-drop has Servant. Now,
Small thing I've done here as well is I've just discarded another extra card off the Trunks draw and discard one. Obviously, I'm a nice, loving person, so that also kind of now makes a 4-drop cooler live. If Ollie wants to use anything 4 cost or less, he's got to now think about that, because that now is only going to cost the 1 energy, which I have up.
very true. We'll go ahead and use the leader effect to give the Trunks Servant.
You got it.
And then we'll go ahead and overload Trunks back to draw 1. And then we'll attempt to swing 15 into leader.
And 15 is a no negates for me.
On auto, we'll give the Goku Servant and just leave it at 15 there.
Again, I have no need to take this damage like this early on. And how many cards in hand?
14.
11, 12. And we're still not too far behind to be comboing out, so I'm going to combo Charismatic Villain.
We'll go ahead and pay 1 and attempt to play this Fu and draw 1.
So, I don't have a cooler. Rip, why did I side one out? But this one I will meet with a Charismatic.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I have definitely misplayed this turn by ordering things this way around. So, the Fu will die.
Yeah.
I at least get the draw 1 from the Fu, so it's not an initial loss, but I definitely shouldn't have left a Servant 20k on your board with Double Strike. I think in this case it is just going to be a pass from me.
So I'm going to draw, And there's probably one left up for petrification here. Has this got servant, sorry?
Yeah, the 1-drop and
Yeah.
the Goku have got servant there.
Cool. And I'm looking at the hand here. There's not a lot of like automatically easy to charge cards, so I am going to go with Earth Destroying, because I feel like I have better spends for my energy not only in my turn, but in my opponent's turn. Telegraphed, wow. And let's go fishing. I'm going to start off by pulling back a 1-drop and drawing 2.
Go for it.
And then, yeah, as Ollie said, I've now got a 20k double strike servant, so I'm going to swing with the Goku into leader to see what we can find out from his hand.
I think to play safe, we'll just go ahead and token negate, get myself to the magic 4.
That sounds good, and that's a nice resource to see at this point here. And how many cards in hand now?
14.
14. So we have to do a lot of just poking away, really, at this point. So I'm going to uptick my unison, and I'm going to swing for 15k at your leader.
No negates there.
Any blocks?
No blocks.
Cool. And then we'll combo this charismatic villain and say 20k.
And we'll meet that with a super combo.
Since he got to the 4. Nice easy combo out there.
Yeah. Let's bottom deck. I think I'm gonna bottom deck this to draw 2. And we'll Z-charge that.
Nice. And I'm also going to Z-charge the charismatic. And because we've now got that out and there hasn't been any blocks, it kind of sets me up quite nicely to tap 3 and make Golden Freezer Newfound Might.
Yeah, that's a very strong answer to the potential petrification that I'm holding for.
Exactly. Because rather than having to... I think there was quite a time where you thought I was probably going to commit like the 8-drop or the... like both 8-drops, to be fair.
Yeah.
So being able to play this now and just get like the board wiped apart from the Fu puts me in a pretty strong spot, and we get rid of the token negate, which normally gets in the way of Newfound Might being able to do a good amount of damage.
For sure.
Cool. And then we'll down tick to gain 10k and triple strike. And then we will swing for that 30k triple.
Again, I have a couple of options here. I can play it safe, or I can be a bit more aggressive. And I think in the position I'm in, it might be best to try and just play it. You do still have 1 energy open.
I do.
Which does kind of scare me. So I do kind of want to leave my 1 energy open just in case. So we're just gonna go ahead and meet it with another token negate.
The double token negate is pretty good here. Because I'm not going to really have an immediate answer. And as I kind of just alluded to earlier, like the token negate being able to stop the first and second swing of the freezer is kind of like the best answer you've got to it.
Yeah, for sure.
There's 1 energy up. So I've got a pretty nice play we can go for here. It depends what you've got though. So I'm going to tap 1 and then send a 1-drop for my Z energy. And I'm going to detonate a 1-drop to be able to pay the Broly Z battle card for 1.
The Broly Z battle card is going to be very strong here, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a risky play because Super Kamehameha does kill it, but it depends if you've got it. Is that okay?
Yeah, he's all good to come down.
Cool. And because I've got 4 more energy, I can sack off another non-unique, which is the other 1-drop, so I deny more like servant value basically for the deck, and kill the token.
Yes. And he becomes 25 double, right?
He does indeed. And then we are going to go ahead and swing for 30k triple again.
Now this does make me very happy that I took the line of play that I did here to play a bit more safe with holding this energy. I think for that one, we'll just meet that with a Vegeta there.
Brilliant. So I get the Vegeta there. And this is fine, like, this is, like, you're keeping hold of cards, which is really good for you, but I'm also kind of getting some of these resources out now.
Yeah.
So that I've got a bit more of a chance going forward on later turns of getting the kill shot in. And then I'm going to go ahead and swing for 25 double with the Broly.
25 double, and that will be met with a power burst. Taking back a 1-drop.
Very nice. Very nicely maneuvered turn here. And then I will also swing for 15k with my leader.
No negates there.
And just going to leave that at 15.
And we'll just combo this 1-drop here. And Z-charge.
Cool. And then at the end of the turn, I'm going to untap my Unison and then say your turn.
Draw for turn. Now, a nice part about that turn is I got myself very cleanly to the Z Awaken point. A not so nice part is that I'm currently missing this 8-drop in hand. Which
And that
would
was
be
turn 1 charge?
super juicy, yeah.
So this is kind of a thing, isn't it? We were saying earlier about like what you're picking as your charge targets, and it can like come up a bit later on. Like, you know, I have no doubt in my mind that was probably the only like right thing to charge on turn 1. But then sometimes a bit later on, you can find yourself missing that like one card that you needed at the right moment in a few turns' time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if I had the 8-drop now, I can at least pressure Unison through Dormant without fear of Charismatic hitting it. Whereas that is not looking like an option anymore.
Yeah, and on my turn, I've been able to pressure well at 3 life onto you.
Yeah.
I'm still at 5. I've got like, you know, 5 life for block and negates, Unison for Dormant, 3 markers for Charismatic. I'm in a very like strong defensive point for what Green wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's start with the leader activate main to give your Vegeta servant.
Sure.
And then I think I'll just overload away the Vegeta and hope that we draw the 8-drop anyways.
Sounds pretty good. Just draw it.
I mean, it's not the worst. Then we'll follow that up with a Trunks to search top 5. You can draw 1, discard 1.
Draw 1, discard 1 sounds good. I'm going to draw 1. And then
myself a 6-drop.
filter out another 1-drop to the drop area.
Now the 6-drops are really vulnerable in this matchup to a Charismatic, which does suck. But I have seen a couple go by already. At least one, I think.
I believe we're at 2.
2, yeah, okay. This is gonna feel like a very, very passive turn, I think.
Thing here, isn't it? Without an 8-drop to properly pressure, you kind of just have to. Yeah, you do lose a lot of value.
Yeah, we're taking a backseat for this one, and that Z battle card being a Z battle card is also giving me issues. So we'll just go ahead and drop the 2 for the Z Awaken.
Sure thing.
Now, before I swing and start to decide what I want to give Servant to, maybe I want to test for Charismatic.
Go fishing for a charismatic villain.
Something along those lines, yeah. So I don't need to get greedy with my overlords right now and turn your battle cards into draw power. As long as I can lock them down, it alleviates pressure. So we'll pay 1 for the 6-drop Cumber here.
Yeah, and I think, you know, your fishing trip has been very successful, because I think I am going to respond with Charismatic for that 6-drop.
Yeah, and at least I still get the on-play auto, which is kind of what I was looking for, just to lock down the Brolyzy battle card there.
Yeah.
And then we'll go ahead and swing Leader into your Unison to try and threaten some markers off.
Yeah, and I think now is a good time to use my Homicidal Clones as well to protect it. It also stops that Broly from getting into its activate battle. You'll have to commit more things to trying to get there to start comboing some Servant things off my board.
Yeah, and I'll use the on-swing auto to draw 1 and then give Servant to the Goku in rest mode on your board.
Sure thing. Which I can probably correct my board state to make a little bit more evident.
I don't think there's anything else I want to do, and I haven't really been able to put any counter pressure onto you, so I need to leave some energy up to defend with. So we'll just go ahead and pass to you there.
Nice. So I will draw for my turn. And tap. And then I'm going to quite happily charge a 1-drop here, because my drop is full of those little buggers. So I don't need to particularly worry too much about charging any more or keeping any in hand really to play around anything. So I've got a few things I can do this turn on tap my leader as well. I've got loads of options this turn, but it really depends what you've got to stop me. So I'm going to have to, kind of as you did there, kind of go fishing a little bit.
Fishing is very broken in this game, not gonna lie.
Just too broken, my guys. Too broken. Let's go. And just start by swinging 20k at your leader.
We'll say no negates there.
We'll say no negates there. And then I'm going to use the token that I made last turn and just make it a nice 25.
Yeah. We'll meet that with another super combo. Bottom deck this off to draw 2.
And that's the second super combo, yeah?
I believe so. Yeah, it is.
Lovely. There'll definitely be a petrification hanging around for me. A couple of blocker negates have gone though, which is pretty handy. And then I will swing another 20k at your leader.
No negates there.
And we will combo the charismatic off the board and go to 25.
We'll go ahead and chuck another super in there. Let's get rid of this one to draw 2 now.
These like 25 pokes here are kind of designed to go fishing for a couple of super combos on this turn.
Yeah. Makes those kill swings ever potent.
Because I, at the same time, basically get to hold my super combos back for when I go for the kill, and there's not going to be much chance of comboing out with a few of those things. Let's go and find some petrification, shall we? I'm going to tap 1 and play the 8-drop.
The 8-drop. Well, I'm not going to petrify it, but I will respond with an unexpected turn.
Certainly.
So the 8-drop will go to drop, and your Broly, being 2 cost or less, will go to the warp. Or remove from game.
Thing. And there's a good amount of defensive work you can do on this turn, still. So I will pull back my 1-drop now that's out of the way, and get 2 draws.
Yeah, go for it.
And how many cards in hand now?
12.
So still got a bit more of a dent to do here. There's been plenty of poking, but there's like a really good amount of cards, and like there's been good resources that come out of the hand this turn, but like not a lot of cards necessarily. So I am going to tap 2 for cooler.
Cooler is all good, yeah.
I need to be able to pressure this 20k as the leader. And I'm going to swing for 20k.
And how many in your hand at this point?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10.
I'm staying in there with the draw power.
You do have the potential to go for a Broly play here, which I'm not a fan of. And that guy can't remove through barrier, right?
No, it's just KO's a battle card.
Okay.
Does not ignore barrier.
Not so bad then. Okay, sure. We'll say no negates there.
I will activate his auto to make you discard a card.
We'll discard Deborah and then attempt to pay 1 to play it.
That is absolutely fine.
Draw 2.
It's not fine. You can hear in my voice it wasn't fine, but
I don't feel
alas.
good about committing that energy so early into the turn when you have 2 up still, but I think it's too efficient to get out of this swing for.
100%. So with that, I'm going to add a super combo to the mix. Because I've seen a couple of them go this turn. So either we're going to get the last one here, or we're going to get a few more cards from hand. And we're going to say 30k double.
Sure. So now, because I don't need to worry about setting up unexpected turn, I'll use Leader Activate Battle to combo the Goku with Servant on your board.
Yeah.
And then his auto will trigger to give my leader plus 10k for the battle and give you back the Goku again.
Really nice play.
And then we'll just combo this Deborah to 35.
Sounds good. And cards in your hand now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 now.
As many as 13. I think I may well. Continue the pressure there. I don't feel like I want to keep any energy up for anything in particular, because I think this is a good turn to kind of get a bit more pressure now you're tapped out. So I'm going to tap 1, tap 2 and send 2 Z energy, and we're going to make Frieza Resurrected Ambition.
Yeah, Frieza is strong.
And that means that because I now control the 2 cards Z battle card, we can untap the cooler. And then I'm going to swing for another 20k at your leader.
Now, I think is the time to give you a Vegeta, which I've been digging for with supers into Burrows this turn.
I'm going to build my board a little bit more here. So even though it's in the gate, it's another card out of hand, and I'm also going to trigger Frieza and Cooler. And the sender Z energy with Frieza to make you discard 1, and then Cooler's effect is going to make you discard another 1.
So we'll go ahead and discard a 6-drop and an SCR.
Which means that one's coming for me next turn. And then I'm going to swing for 15k at your leader with Frieza for double.
No negates there.
I'm going to add a 1-drop to the combo there to go up to 20.
Yep. And I will go ahead and combo off this Trunks to 25 there.
Beautiful stuff. We're plenty in the drop, so we'll add ourselves another Z energy ready for next turn. And with that all said and done, I will pass over to you.
Draw. Charge a 6-drop here. And how many cards in your hand now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Well, we finally found it, so we'll tap 2 and start off with an 8-drop here.
Of course.
So I'll draw 1 double strike dual attack, and we'll go ahead and give Servant to everything aside from the Cooler, which I cannot choose, sadly.
Sweet.
9 cards in hand. Now I definitely have options. It really depends on whether I think I can live another turn, which, with the state of my hand, the fact that you've got so many supers and free negates out, it's starting to feel like I can't.
So you're potentially thinking about trying to win it on this turn here.
It is definitely looking like a possibility here. So I think if that is the case, we'll overlord your blocker to draw 1.
Leaves me with the Goku and the Trunks. Yeah.
Oh, that is a lovely card. Oh, can I play the long game here? I'm not so sure I can. It's like I said earlier, you definitely win the later the game goes. Especially going first, you can put that pressure on to stunt my mid game a lot. Right. Yeah, I think here it's going to be a case of giving you a Trunks to search top 5.
Trying to get those extra resources at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll take a Vegeta.
You give yourself more options, see whether you're going to survive this turn or whether you can play a bit more of a long game with a few more extra cards in hand.
And yeah, you draw 1, discard 1, if you haven't already.
Nice. And then we'll discard Kayak.
Okay. It's really rough. I could get so much draw power off your board of servants right now. But I just don't think I survive another turn. What with Piccolo, Gohan, SCR, potentially more Cooler and Z battle cards coming down, it just doesn't look hopeful. And you have more supers than me.
Yeah, and there's going to be 6 energy as well, so...
Yeah, there's
Gives me
plays.
quite a few options.
There's plays for sure. We're gonna hit it with the 30 double on your leader.
I am going to caveat this move with potentially saying that there was a misplay last turn by me tapping out. And we'll see if you've got it before I activate. But yeah, we're going to use Dormant Potential. And I'm going to see if you've got a Hunt of the Demon card.
Before you discard for cost, the card that I did draw at some point this turn, which did make me think I need to go for the kill, is the Hunt of the Demon card.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, looking back after that turn, actually tapping out for the Frisian instead of going for the Broly and leaving 1 up so I could just tap 1 for this, was potentially a big misplay on that one. I still discard for cost, or?
No, it's not a cost. It's just if you decide to activate the second effect, then you also discard. But
you saw nothing. Professional players.
So the attack is still going to be going through.
Yeah.
And just to try and hit that extra breakpoint here, we are going to combo. Because you have super combos left. So just making sure that I get at least 1 card out your hand is going to be relevant here.
Yeah.
And to do so, we'll just combo a 1-drop to 35 double.
Yeah, and I kind of have to combo out here. Looking at my hand, it's got some like decent resources, but if I take this double now, knowing there's 2 energy left to play Evil Saiyan from the potentially Overrealm Evil Saiyan plus the leader swing, there's a bit too much that can happen on this turn if I don't spend the resources getting out. So I am indeed going to super combo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bottom deck this card since you literally saw it. Professional. And I'm going to spend my other super combo as well.
Now the only issue with this line of play is You could very easily just have another Floodgate in hand. But I think we've reached a point where I just have to commit.
True. And then here's another 5k as well.
And worst case scenario, if I can get a good chunk of your hand down, just off the fact that my leader's 20k base and I can combo some of your board off on your turn.
Yeah.
Maybe I can clinch it out from there too. I think here is where I go with a leader swing, because if you have the Saiyan specific Floodgate, it will negate this attack, whereas I'd rather you not negate the double strike attack. And if it's dormant, it's going to be a big attack from the free combo anyways. And then with that, plus Evil Saiyan potentially, plus a double strike, even with dormant, you might not be safe.
Yeah, and I think I do have to spend a few cards here, but I think we are going to use Uneasing Awakened Rage, and I'm going to have to discard the best card in the game, because I know that I need to just survive the turn. And I can't quite use the best card in the game right now. And then also discard a Demagogue Unison to activate the Floodgate effect.
Of course. And I'll auto-draw one, and then I'll give Servant to the Trunks that I played after I gave Servant to your whole board.
Yes.
Now the Uneasing is the one that I'm more happy to see, because it doesn't restrict my attacks necessarily, it just restricts my hand size. Whereas Dormant, if you have Dormant plus another free negate, there's no way I can get through.
Yeah, exactly. So you
Which
still
is
have
why
a good
I was
opportunity this turn.
much happier to counter the Dormant rather than the other card.
Yeah.
If I saw the Uneasing initially, I think I would have just let it go through and kept swinging through until I saw Dormant.
Absolutely. I think that's 100% the right play there. I'd have to have double Dormant basically.
Yeah. How many have you got in hand now?
Only 4, which is why not leaving the energy open last turn was such a mistake.
Yeah.
Being able to hit the Dormant with 1 energy and actually pay the energy, knowing that the Hunt for the Demon Clan's a very common side deck card, would have put me in a pretty a much better spot to win on the next turn. But as is, for life, I've got to do a lot of defending on only 4 cards.
We'll swing 30 double to leader again. We'll Z-charge Petrification because we're pretty committed now.
Absolutely. And because it's double, I am going to be using Homicidal Clones to take a life and avoid the double strike there.
Now, see, now I have options again. You keep doing this. You keep just giving me weird decisions to make.
Hey, that's what the game's about, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Keep giving your opponent weird decisions to make. And the thing is, eventually, so the best players are the ones that don't make the mistakes in those scenarios, or don't make as many mistakes. I think it's pretty impossible to play a lot of games of Dragon Ball utterly perfectly.
100%. We're gonna go ahead and... the extra card in hand is actually really relevant with this Floodgate, though. But then I can't play around your SCR as well. Do I play around your SCR better, or do I get an extra card in hand? I think getting an extra card in hand is too greedy here. You're on 4 cards in hand, so I feel like the best way for you to live is to have SCR. So I'm going to play around that. So we're going to Overwhelm and warp that blocker off.
Of course.
And then we're going to go ahead and threaten 30k to lead and Z-charge this Kraken Space-Time, which is a bit useless now.
Yeah, because you're looking to size up a Evil Saiyan turn here. No negates on that one.
You have 4 in hand, so in theory, if none of them are super combos, 35 is the max you can get to.
Yeah.
In which case, I might as well combo to 35, just to try and
to Z-charge as well.
Down. Exactly. Yeah, we'll go ahead and combo this. No, we'll combo this. Let's be smart now. 35 to leader.
Nice, and yeah, I'm not going to combo out of that. I am going to take it.
Go to drop. And then we'll do the old favourite, tap 2. And get this evil saying down. So we'll warp your 5-drop cooler.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll take the one closest to your deck, I guess.
This one?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I will play good old cooler to my side of the
Yeah.
board. Arguably, I could have done this earlier to try and play around charismatic hitting my overwhelm. But I couldn't have done it before overwhelming, is the only thing. So
Yes.
it actually isn't relevant. This is still the best line.
Definitely.
Now you have 5 in hand, but you still have the potential for an SCR, which is very, very scary.
And you 100% have 5 cards or more in rest mode.
Yeah. And I 100% can't really combo out either. Or combo through an SCR swing, I don't think. The question is, can I afford to play around it? Say you have SCR and 5Ks, your max would be 45 plus 20 to go 65.
Yeah.
Which I can match. In fact, no, you can do that still. Okay, I cannot play around SCR because of the existence of that right now, which sucks. So we'll swing 40 to leader and Z-charge to Burrow.
No negates.
And we'll specifically combo... Ah, but that does cost me an extra card. And that also cost me an extra card. So... I should combo 3 cards and the cooler to go 60.
Definitely, because I have a very dead hand. I could only combo 3 cards and could only get to 30 anyway. So as soon as the evil swings, I'm pretty much done for.
Yeah, what I was concerned about was you had this Goku on the board that you can still combo off. And so I specifically had to keep a card in hand so that I could then swing with him still. Because the swing with him is worth 10k, whereas the card in hand is worth 5k. So it's a plus 5k if I swing with it, even having to Z-charge a card from hand.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, GG's, man, GG's.
Yeah, I was very concerned about SCR coming down. You combo off the Goku, give me Goku, combo SCR, rest the Goku. It would have completely screwed me over.
That's the thing, is like I needed to, like when I started super comboing on the Cumber attack, I was hunting for the SCR because I needed it. Unfortunately, it was just down here. So they're just there, chilling. But otherwise, I think like the deck's got potential for sure. It needs a little bit of fine tuning. There's a bit of clunkiness, but I'm a big fan of the hand control stuff.
Yeah, and again, if you'd left that energy open going into my turn 5, I think I very easily just lost that game.
Yes, exactly. And I think like that's something that, because I haven't seen a lot of Hunt of the Demon Clan before in a few of my games that I've played. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't looking out for it. And, you know, we talked about it in the side deck. And I got that bit of a greedy play where I wanted to use the freezer to chip some more cards out of the hand, and ended up costing me because, you know, you even had it in my, like, internal monologue there where I was talking about how, like, I don't really need to keep an energy open here because I'm, knowing I have the dormant. And then I just didn't keep the energy up, knowing that Hunt for the Demon Clan was a thing there. So, yeah, 100% worth keeping an energy open for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Well, some very, very tense games there, not gonna lie.
They're really good, and it's like quite tiring kind of talking through the whole thought process of it, but I think it's kind of like really handy to do content-wise.
Yeah,
I think a lot
absolutely.
of things like actually talk through what your like thought process is. I think that kind of made the game a lot more interesting, being able to kind of understand how we're both like looking to go about the game.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it was definitely very enjoyable. It's something I'd hope to do more often in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thanks very much for the games, Ollie, and we will catch you in a bit, man.
Yeah, GG's.